Well, what's going on, everybody? My name is Mitch Tabian, and this is part 6 of my login and register tutorial using the external database. And in this part, I'm going to create the background task that talks to the PHP, which is talking to the database. And I'm also going to add the activities into the manifest because I forgot to. So let's add that guy first. And that guy. Okay, and then we'll create our background task class. So background task. It's going to extend async task. Again, if you're kind of new and you don't really understand this, don't worry about it too much. Just copy it down, and this is it's a pretty general way of how to do it. So yeah, just don't worry about it. So first of all, we're going to throw in the required methods. We're going to throw in this guy, and that guy. And come on, red light bulb. Give me the red light bulb. There we go. And doing background, okay. And our doing background is actually going to be returning a string. So we're going to change this. And that means we've got to change this. And also, our onPost execute will be with a string. So we'll change that to a string. And there we go. Start by declaring our shared preferences. And context. Then I believe this is called a default constructor. Refers to the context. Okay, and now we'll start with the meat and potatoes. I want to start with the preferences first. Yeah, I guess so. Preferences. Refer to my prefs, because this is the shared preferences that I think it was in the register. No, logged in. Yeah, you have to use the same my prefs tag if you're referencing things. It's like kind of like a database, I guess. Database of shared preferences and temporary memory. This is a flag that I use, which I'll explain later. It's just because we have two cases: either we're registering, or we're going to use the background task when either we're registering or we're logging in. And so this flag is going to either be it's going to either be register or log in, and that will help us with our if statements later on, which I'll show you if that made no sense to you. But I promise it will make sense. So we're going to have two URLs, one for our registration and one for logging in, just like in the PHP part of the tutorial where I showed you how we could test if things were getting added to the database, or things were getting connected, or things were connecting to the database. I'm trying to talk and think at the same time here. It's not working out for me. I'm just going to type this out and explain it after, I think. just going to write a little bit more and I'll stop and explain what I did. Okay, so what we do here is we create a task, a string name task, and it's going to be the first position of params. And so if you look at here on my on-click listeners, if we're logging in, the task here, login, gets passed, and if we're registering, the task register here gets passed. Oops, that needs to be a comma there. So and then what this does is it accesses that. So params, the 0th position is this right here, because that's 0, 1, 2, 3, and same with this, 0, 1, 2. So this will get the string, and basically if it's registered, then we're going to do some other stuff, and we're going to have another case where it's like if task dot equals login, we'll have other stuff. But first we're going to write this part. So we need to have a try catch here. Actually, I'll just type it and then let Android do it for me. So URL. Probably going to go a little quiet here again because I got to think about what I'm doing. Not very good at thinking and typing. Why is this red? Yeah, so there's the try catch that I was talking about. So try catch, there we go. And then we need to make an HTTP URL connection. URL.open connection. There we go. I think this is another exception I need to. There we go. Catch clause. Okay. Set request method. This is post. So this should match your PHP. So we use the post method in PHP. So that's why we use this. Set do output true, and we need to make an output stream. Get the output stream, and we need an output stream writer. Pass the output stream and pass the text type. Then we need a buffered writer. So this is very similar for any time you're outputting data or having data come in. It's the same sort of thing every time. You have an output stream, you have an output stream writer, and you have a buffered reader. So you can start to see patterns here. Then you need a URL encoder. And these are the identifiers that I was talking to you about earlier. Whoops, in the previous tutorials with the PHP. So identifier name and text style. Okay. Plus. Oh, very important that there's no spaces here. It won't work if there's spaces, so keep that in mind. If you got some mysterious error somewhere, take a look there. Pass the registration name and text, and then we need an and we're going to do the next one. So copy that again. This time it's going to be, I'll explain this in a second, but it should be pretty obvious because there's only one time we ever did anything with an identifier like that. Okay, and this is going to be the password. Email, and change that to password. Okay. And buffered writer. Write the data, and then you need to flush it like the toilet. flush it just like the toilet. Maybe not just like the toilet. We gotta flush it. Okay, and close that. Okay, so just to talk about this a little bit here. So basically what we are doing is outputting data, and it's gonna connect to the it's gonna connect to register. So if task equals register, we're gonna use the registration URL, which is this, which is then going to take a look at this PHP file, and you can see that these post methods are identified by these strings. So the Android code knows which strings we're talking about with those identifiers. Okay, and then we need to set our shared preferences. That string, we're setting the flag, and the flag is going to be called register, and we need to commit that. There we go, and return a string because that's what this does. Successfully registered, and then we'll put their name. There we go. So now this will return a little, I'm going to make a toast, and it will return a little toast saying that it was successfully registered. Okay, so now we'll go on to the login part, which is basically going to be almost the same. It'll just be slightly different. I wonder how much of that I can actually just copy. I better just write it. Okay, so string login email equals params1, because param 0 is the task. So if we go to the login part, we can see where is it? Oh, that's no. Here. So you can see that params1 is task, params2 is email, or params1 is email, and params2 is the password. And so that's what we're putting here. So now we need a URL connection. And we're going to use the login URL and surround with try-catch. An HTTP URL connection. Open connection, and that's going to need another catch clause. Okay, and HTTP URL connection. Set request method, and it's going to be the post method. Set do output true, and set do input true. Okay, so send the email and password to the database. That's what we're going to do now. So like before, we need an output stream first of all. Oops. Get output stream, and then we need an output stream writer. And we need a buffered writer. And then we need to create a string here with all the encoders. URL encoder. Actually, I'm just going to copy that from up here. I think we only need two here though. So this is going to be a different identifier. It's going to be login email and login password. So login email and login password. You can get rid of all those. Oops. Okay. And now we need a buffered writer. And we need to write the data. And then we need to flush the toilet. Okay, flush the toilet. And then we need to close the connection and close the output stream. Okay, and then we need to get a response from the database. And we're going to do that with an input stream. So this is going to be the same as the output stream, sort of, but it's just going to be, input stream. So we can follow the same kind of pattern as we see up here. Get input stream and input stream reader instead of, oops, god damn it, new input stream and pass the input stream and then UTF-8, and then we do a buffered reader instead of a buffered writer, and pass the input stream, or pass the input stream reader, and then we're going to have, let me think about this, we got, we need our database response, which is going to be, if you look at the login here, this is going to be our database response right here. It's going to have a boolean, an email, and a name, separated by commas. Database. Oh, wait a sec. Yeah. And then you can have the input line. Okay. And while input line equals buffered reader dot read line, close that, does not equal null, it'll keep reading. So, but it should only read one line, because there's only one piece of information coming in. That one line of database response. Okay, and then buffered reader close, and input, no, not input line, input stream close, and close the connection. Or disconnect. Disconnect. There we go. So, and for troubleshooting, I'll just give you guys, this is how I troubleshooted it when I was trying to get mine to work. I had a print line statement right here. I did all these exclamation marks just so it was easy to pick out in the what is it called, logcat, and then I know if everything's working properly. So I'll print the database response. So that way I can take a look at the database response, which is either going to be login was not successful, or it'll print out this. So you can tell if it's not working properly. If you don't think you need that, then no big deal. If you follow this right, you shouldn't need that. So this is where we set the flag now. Now, in this case, the flag is going to be set to login, and in the other case, the flag was set to register, because this is our task register, and this is our task login. So in this case, we're setting it to login. And then we want to return database response. Cool. So now we'll go on to the next part. I don't think we do anything with this. We're just going to work with the onPost execute. So this method will be called when do in background completes, and it will return the completion string, which will display this toast. I'll put a toast in here. So we can get rid of this. String flag equals get string flag, and if there's nothing, then the flag will be 0. So this is how we access the flag once everything is complete. So, but yeah, how it works is you're either going to have a task for login or a task for register, and each one of these will set the flag. The register flag, or the flag will be set as register if it's register, and the flag will be set as login if it's a login task. And then once it's, so on post execute, once that process is done, I'm going to access that flag right here and store it as a variable flag. And so this thing is either going to equal register or it's going to equal login. And so we can check. So if flag dot equals register, then do this stuff. And so now we're going to take a look at the server response and split it. So I'll explain after this. So the server response is going to be, like I said, this line right here. So it's going to be true separated by an email separated by a comma and then a name, if it works properly. And so what I'll do here is split up that response based on commas. So, and then we store them. So then test will equal server response 0, and name will equal server response 1, and email will equal server response 2, because this will be the 0th position, 1st position, and 2nd position. So pretty easy. Usually this is done with JSON or JSON, but since I want to keep it simple and we only have a tiny little server response, we can just do it like this. No big deal. Oh, actually, this was I'm actually writing the login part right here. So then if test equals true, we're going to put the string so that we can access it in the logged in screen. So this is how you like I said about passing data between classes. This is how I do it. So now I'm storing name under the name tag, and I'm going to do the same thing for the other variables. Email. And then you can start an intent and move to the logged in screen. Here, intent, pass the context, and we logged in dot class. Checked. And then start our context dot start activity, I think, yeah. There we go. And else, God. Oh, I'm going to create a little method down here for displaying just a little pop-up box. I've done it in another tutorial, I can't remember which one though. So login failed, and that email and password do not match our records. Okay. So I'll actually create this method right now, so get it out of the way. Public void display string title. This is just to create an alert dialog box. Just like a fancier way to make a toast, I guess. Actually, I'm just going to pop it in here. So there we go. Got the display method done. Okay. We need to create an else statement here. Let's go, something weird happened. Okay, so now I need to make the register case. So we have flag equals register, and we're just going to have a little toast action. Oh, that's too much. Okay, so toast.made text, context. I'll just print out the server response. Toast. There. Okay, so I think we're ready to go. I think it's laid out pretty good, but I'll just talk about this a little bit right here. So we have two cases here where if flag is going to be either register or it's going to be login. If it's login, it's going to get the server response, which is going to be separated by commas, and then I'm going to store that server response. I'm going to split that server response up and store it in shared preferences using the name tag and the email tag, and then the logged in screen over here accesses that. So it accesses the name tag and it accesses the email tag, and then it sets the text. So we're going to go ahead and run this. No, damn, I just ran it and I forgot to give internet permission here. There we go. Okay, hopefully that works. Try this again. Oh, I actually made another error. I'm gonna fix this. So in the background task, I'm pretty sure all these have to be HTTP connection, not HTTPS. Oh man, one more thing I forgot to do. In all the PHP files, you got to make sure to comment out these echoes, except for the server response, or else it interferes with the server response. So make sure that every echo is commented out except for this one and this one, and then save those guys and throw them in there. So now that we've got those in there, we'll try it again. Go run at tavian.ca and go, was it Ron's password? Hit login. Hooray! So we got logged in with the user, which is the only one in the database right now, and we logged in with Ron's password and it works. And we could test it by creating a new, let's register a new user. So Mitch, and my password will be password. Mitch at tavian.ca, register, and Mitch at tavian.ca, test my password, log in, and there we go. So there we go. This tutorial kind of covers a lot of stuff. You can obviously see that if you wanted to add more things to your server response, it'd be pretty easy just to add more columns to your database and have a bigger server response, and then just break it up using commas like this right here. And yeah, so hopefully you guys learned a lot, and don't forget to like the video if you like the video, show your support, subscribe, and thanks for watching.